Hello everyone and welcome. It is time. We have seen the new Rebellion sequel movie, and I know I said in the past that I really don't want to see a Rebellion sequel, mostly because I didn't have that much confidence that they would make a really good movie after the Rebellion. So I thought that maybe if they made a movie now, it's going to be bad and it's going to taint the legacy of Madoka Magica, at least mainline Madoka Magica. But you know what? I still kind of believe that, but I am actually a little bit hopeful this time, just a little bit hopeful, that maybe this is actually going to be really good and it's going to live up to the hype. Multiple reasons for that, why I think that actually, if we are going to get a Rebellion sequel, it's inevitable. Maybe this is the best way we're going to get it. Why? Because on one hand, we have Urobuchi back on the case. We have the writer back. He said he was kind of done with Madoka Magica, and he hasn't written anything for Madoka Magica in like 7 years. And he actually said, and that's actually true, because he said that the draft for this movie is 7 years old. He has written this stuff 7 years ago. Now, there is a trailer for this. I can't show it in motion because of copyright, but I can show some stills of the trailer on screen, which I'm going to probably do right now somewhere on screen. I don't know where. And also, who's back is Yuki Kajura. I thought Kajura might also not be back because she also kind of said she was kind of done and was doing other stuff. Calafina died. Well, they not actually died, but they like split up. So Calafina split up. They're not there anymore. They're not going to be back. But we still have Kajura. And if you know more about Kajura, you know that she composes music that basically, it doesn't matter if it's Calafina or not. She's gonna still deliver that music. We're still gonna get the great soundtrack, even without Calafina. So that's gonna be great. Cladders, I think, are different as well, but whatever. It's not really that important about the opening and the ending stuff. Just know that the actual soundtrack of the movie is basically guaranteed to be awesome with Kajura back on the case. We've got Akiyuki Shinbo back. We've got all of the people back. We've got Magica Quartet back on the job, which is one of the things that I said if the new movie was gonna have any chance of survival, it has to have all of these people back in. If just a single one of them was missing, it would have been terrible. But all of them are back, so that's at least one of the things that make me hopeful. Because if, for example, they say, oh, there's a different writer now, or there's a different person making the music, I would have been like, nah, maybe that's not going to be that great. But it's okay. We've got the people back on the job. More importantly, though, we have, I guess, a trailer teaser, more like a teaser preview. Doesn't really tell us a whole lot of anything, and there's something that makes me hopeful in this trailer. Now, I said it before, the main reason why I didn't want really to continue a Rebellion story is because I didn't believe that even a good writer could make the post-Rebellion world work. Like, where does it go from there? Like, sure, you have this cliffhanger of like Madoka finding her memories again, and then what does it happen? But if you actually thought about that for a little, it's like Madoka's own words led to the Rebellion world happening. So she probably kind of agrees with what Homura did, even though she also kind of disagrees with that. Like, yeah, she's going to be on the fence. Does she like Homura? Does she not like Homura? She'll probably be somewhere on the fence. But she would never actually fight Homura or try to, like, undo what Homura did. That's just not part of her character at all. It just wouldn't make any sense for her to do that, when this is also kind of what she wanted. Like, she kind of wanted to be a human again. So, yeah, it was kind of wishy-washy what she would actually do. And then the concept movie showed like Sayaka doing some random stuff with her witch. It showed like Mami doing weird shit. We don't know what the fuck was going on. But it seems like they basically scrapped everything from concept movie because we didn't see anything from concept movie in here. And instead they went in a completely different direction. And this is what makes me hopeful, because what concept movie showed did not look good to me. It looked like they were just trying to force content to happen, right? They were like, oh, we need to have content, what can we do? Oh, and then they like threw stuff at a screen and just looked tried to wait what sticks, right? But now it seems like they went in a completely different direction. However, is this new direction good or not? Well, if you look at the trailer or the teaser, it's just like 2 or 3 frames that are a little bit animated. What we actually see is, we see some flashback scenes, it seems, but not quite flashback scenes. It looks like it's the original Madoka with her original design, so not Madoka-mi design. This is not in a post-Rebellion world where this plays, because if this was in post-Rebellion, she would probably have Madoka-mi's design, but no, it's like original Madoka design, and she's fighting Walpurgis Nacht. Now that is weird, and the title of the movie is also Walpurgis no Kaiten. Kaiten is a really weird word where it doesn't really have a good English like name for it. It's made up of the 2 kanji that mean like revolution or like turning, like revolution as in like turning something. It also has the 10, which means like heaven or sky or world, and if you looked up the word, you would probably find something like world changing, or turning the tide, or world shattering, order shattering, something like that. And I think the best way to describe it would actually be with the word revolution, but not revolutionist and like something is turning, but revolution in the sense of like the French Revolution, like turning over an order, like turning the like similar to rebellion. It's basically very similar to rebellion, just this time it's revolution. You could also call it New World Order. So there's many different ways you could translate that. They're probably going to go with something like Walpurgis's Revolution, something like that. It's probably a very snappy, very fast to pronounce English title they're probably going to go with. And this also gives us a new hint that, yeah, this entire movie is probably going to be about Walpurgis in some way, because they put it right in the title, Walpurgis's Revolution. Okay, we also see old Madoka, like old design Madoka, fighting Walpurgis Nacht in what seems to be the old ruins of Mitakihara that we've known from the original anime. So what is actually going on? Well, here's my idea. Here's what my idea was going to go on. This is all just theory, okay? Just random theory, but it's all based on the little information that we have, and based on the not fact that they've thrown away concept movie stuff, but at least the hints that it seems like they've thrown away concept movie stuff, because nothing they've shown in here is anything than what we've seen from the concept movie at all. So it seems to me that they've thrown away everything they've shown in the concept movie and done something completely different. So here's my idea, okay? Here's what they did. Akuma Homura, in the post-rebellions world, for some reason or another, either, there's two ways this can go. I mean, there's many different theories, but two ways this can go. Either she believes that Madoka still cannot be saved, because why? She wants to keep fighting. She wants to keep fighting and throw her life away. No matter what happens, she just can't stop Madoka from trying to throw her life away, which of course is the main moral dilemma that that all of Madoka is about. Is it good or not? Is it good or bad to stop someone from sacrificing their life for the greater good, right? Because of course a life lost is always terrible, but they're doing it for the greater good, so maybe you shouldn't stop them. It's like, okay, that's kind of the moral dilemma, that's the core of this. So maybe she says to herself, yeah, no, this still doesn't work. And what you would do instead is you would try to go back to where all of these problems started. Where did all the problems start? When she failed, or when Madoka rather failed to destroy Walpurgis Nacht. If Madoka was actually able to defeat Walpurgis Nacht and live on, we would just be fine. Like, sure, Madoka would keep fighting witches, but she would be safe, right? And that's kind of what Homura wants, what everyone wants. We want Madoka to be safe. The other second thing that could happen is maybe Madoka has a talk with Akuma Homura, and Akuma Homura gives some of the magic that she stole back to Madoka, or Madoka just makes a contract in the new world. Because in the post-rebellion story, Madoka is not actually a magical girl. She's just a normal human. So in some way or another, maybe Madoka gets some magical power back. And what does she do with the magical power? She goes to another timeline and fights witches again. Or she goes to another dimension and fights witches. And both of these cases have dimensional travel. And I actually think that's something that is very likely to happen. Why? Because the only thing the teaser showed is Mitakihara ruins with Walpurgis Nacht and Madoka fighting that, which is all stuff we've seen from the original anime. None of this makes any goddamn sense in the post-rebellion timeline. So what I think happens is that it's basically impossible for this to play post-rebellion. Like for the actual fight against Walpurgis Nacht, to play post-rebellion. Why? Because there's two ways this can go. Once again, there's many different paths and branches, but with Walpurgis Nacht, either like at the end of Rebellion story, Akumura has said that she's trying to make sure that the law of cycles stays intact with the help of Kyubey. So either it's true, the law of cycles is still intact, in which case Walpurgis Nacht cannot even exist because witches can't exist, which means this has to be a different dimension or like a different timeline or whatever. Or secondly, for some reason, witches can exist. Walpurgis Nacht can exist in the post-rebellion timeline, but Akuma Homura is a god who can shape reality. She could just snap her fingers and Walpurgis Nacht disintegrates into nothing. right? So there's no way this actually plays post-rebellion, like in the post-rebellion world. There has to be some dimension travel, some maybe reshaping the world again for a third time, because why the fuck not? Maybe some other time travel shenanigans. There's definitely some shenanigans that happen here, and this doesn't just play in post-rebellion story, at least from everything that we've seen. Maybe it does, and this teaser is just a complete misdirection, and nothing in this teaser has any sense of being. But there are also more hints to that. First, next up, the entire trailer has this like shattered glass look. And shattered glass with Akuma Homura's hand, and this is Akuma Homura's hand, we know that, like grabbing out, reaching towards it, makes it look like Madoka is in a different dimension, a different timeline, somewhere that she cannot grasp. And she's trying to help her, but cannot for some reason, which would also tie into the whole dimension travel. And also the title, of course, Walpurgis' revolution or world order or something. It just seems like there is some different dimension, some different timeline where Madoka is going to keep fighting Walpurgisnacht, and everything is going to be about Walpurgisnacht. Going to fight Walpurgisnacht. Walpurgisnacht is the master of this dimension. We're going to defeat her, whatever. So yeah, I'm fairly certain that there's going to be some dimension traveling, some time travel, some world reshaping shenanigans is going to happen in this movie, and it's not just going to be in the post-rebellion time. And to bring it back to the original point, this is why I'm somewhat hopeful for this movie, because like I said originally, I just didn't think there was much hope for the post-rebellion world to still tell a story in that world that is a good movie. So the fact that they're ditching that and going somewhere else, that's good. It seems like the Urobuchi knows that, yeah, we can't really do much in that world, so let's go somewhere where we can do stuff. However, here's where the problems lie. They chose to go back to Walpurgisnacht. But this is how you pronounce it, Walpurgisnacht. I'm a German, I know how to pronounce it, Walpurgisnacht. I need to keep saying that because how many German Madoka fans are out there that can actually teach people how to say that? This is the one thing I can do. This is all I can do. I have nothing else in my life other than to teach people how to pronounce Walpurgisnacht. Anyway, so the fact that they go back to Walpurgisnacht is kind of problematic, because why? Walpurgisnacht is what you would describe as a force of nature. And I'm not saying that because normal people think that it's an actual force of nature, like a typhoon or whatever, or not a monsoon, like a tornado or whatever. But more so, like, the idea behind a force of nature is it's something that you're not supposed to defeat it. The whole point of Madoka Mágica, the original, was not to defeat Walpurgisnacht. Like, yeah, it was a hard fight, she was trying to defeat it, and it seemed like, oh, if we could just defeat Walpurgisnacht, that would solve our problems, but not really. The whole point was that Homura's plans, Homura's ideals, just didn't work out in tandem with Madoka's ideals. Madoka's ideals are, I'm gonna kill myself for the greater good. The second part is more so important, but I'm gonna kill myself for the greater good. It's called a sort of Madoka's ideal, and Homura's ideal is, I'm gonna kill myself or get myself almost killed to protect Madoka. Both of those ideals cannot both work at once. One of these characters is gonna be the victor, and the other one is just gonna have to follow the other character in their ideals. This is also what the endings of both the original and Rebellion did. In the original ending, Madoka's ideal won out, and Homura was forced to follow her ideal. Afterwards, at the end of Rebellion, Homura's ideal won out, and Madoka was forced to follow her ideal. That's sort of the two endings. So that was the main conflict that we had. Walpurgisnacht only really existed in there to be a force to push for change. If Walpurgisnacht didn't exist, maybe Homura would spend 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, whatever, how many years protecting Madoka forever. Probably forever, because magical girls maybe don't even age if they realize the nature of their of the magical girl body being like a magical construct. I assume that they can probably stop their own aging if they do stuff like that. So probably Homura would protect Madoka forever. Like, not just for the rest of her life, but forever, for thousands of years. And that's just something that just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. But instead of actually seeing that happening for hundreds of years, instead we have Walpurgisnacht. Walpurgisnacht forces change to happen. She's there to force Homura to accept defeat, accept that her way of doing stuff just doesn't work, that something has to change. She forces Madoka to make a decision, make a wish, not make a wish. She forces change, right? That was the point of Walpurgis Nacht. It was an ultimatum, not an actual character. Walpurgis Nacht didn't make decisions. Walpurgis Nacht just is, and destroyed stuff and wanted to force change. But that was the point. Making an entire movie out of that, the reason why they're making a movie out of that is because they know that Walpurgis Nacht is popular. What do people think about when they think about Madoka? Well, Madoka herself, they think about Homura, they think about grimdark stuff, Walpurgis Nacht, they think about Walpurgis Nacht, right? It's right in there with what people think about when they think about Madoka, so they were like, let's make a movie about Walpurgis Nacht. But Walpurgis Nacht isn't a character. She doesn't have an agenda, she doesn't have a goal, she just is. She just destroys stuff because she just destroys stuff, and then she leaves and is gone. If all the characters knew about Walpurgis Nacht, they would just leave the city, let Walpurgis Nacht destroy it, and then come back and rebuild, and that's it, right? Walpurgis Nacht isn't a character. Walpurgis Nacht doesn't have agency. Walpurgis Nacht just is. And that's why I think I'm kind of worried about this entire story. The fact that they're making an entire story about Walpurgis Nacht, this kind of makes me feel like they might have missed the point. But then again, it's Urobuchi writing this, and he wrote this 7 years ago when he was a better writer, because well, Urobuchi has kind of changed over the last few years. But at least he wrote this, like, at least the first draft, like just the first draft, at least he wrote 7 years ago. So if Urobuchi originally rewrote this draft, he probably had some ideas about what to do with the story, right? So maybe Urobuchi actually did have an interesting idea of what to do with the story. So maybe it's gonna be alright. I don't know. There's also some, by the way, there's also a manga record story that has been announced, but I'm gonna get to that when it actually gets like announced in-game. So yeah, we don't have any information on the manga record part of that, by the way. It's just at some point we're gonna get a thing, whatever. But yeah, that was that for Madoka Magica, the Walpurgis no Kaiten, Walpurgis Revolution probably. Yeah, that was that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.